Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
perfect. So I have some of my colleagues joining today. I know you've met Bob. He's our executive director. And then we also have Audra and Maria, who are two of our mathematics faculty members. So they'll be working through a lot of the curriculum development and also teaching the online courses. So this will be the first time you'll meet them, but it won't be the last time you'll meet them. Why don't we turn off our cameras just to allow for better bandwidth for everyone. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna just quickly go through a presentation about how NJCTL develops materials and also show you how to find materials on the website. We will be posting everything. I know that you've probably had a chance to view some of the presentations on our website, but we will be posting everything specifically for the forms 1, 2, and 3 mathematics and Eswatini. We have created a special spot on the website just for those materials. So we'll get those uploaded and I will show you how to find them. So the aims of this project that we are doing together are to create the engaging teaching materials for forms 1 through 3 science and mathematics. Then we'll train the group of teachers and master trainers in the use of those materials and support those same teachers and trainers during the first year of implementation. And then we'll measure the impact on teachers and students. And here's just a very brief timeline. This is not all that broken down, but this gives you the broad things that we will be doing. We're currently in the curriculum development stage and hope to have that all completed by May. And then May through August, the teachers and trainers will be taking the first course, which is a teaching methods course. And that will be learning how to use the materials in the classroom with students. And then from August through November, the Form 1 online course will be taken. That will be the trainers and teachers learning how to use those materials for Form 1. They're familiar, they know the content, but here they'll see the way that it will be shown to students and delivered to students. And then in November, Form 2 online courses will begin. And then at the beginning of the next school year will be the first field experience. And during the field experience courses, those materials from Form 1 and what they've learned so far in Form 2 will be used with students in the classroom, demonstrating the teaching methods that they learned in the methods course. And then from April through September, teachers and trainers will take the Form 3 online course and also engage in the second field experience course. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how NJCTL develops materials. We have some principles that we use when we're developing presentations to be used as teaching materials with students. And the first one is coherence. We want the curricula to tell a story. So not the typical kind of story where you sit kids down and tell them a story, but we want it to flow, the learning to flow like a story. So it will make logical sense from beginning to end. What students learn in the beginning will be built upon next and built upon after that. So it will be in a sequence that is easy for students to remember. And we always are working towards sense making. So every idea is developed from clearly stated assumptions or from evidence or experimental evidence that we already have. We want kids to eliminate memorization and just build their sense as we go through. And we do a lot of that with the students working together in groups, working on formative assessment questions or problems within the classwork and homework. So they will learn something and then put it into practice so that they can make sense of that and it will go into their long-term memory a little easier that way. We work on horizontal alignment, so the mathematics that they learn will be used in their science. Mathematics problems will use those same symbols, variables, and formula from science. We've been working a lot with our mathematics and our science team, thinking about what it is that students in Form 1 are learning in mathematics, so that we make sure that we're matching that up with what they're learning in their science courses. And then we also are trying to achieve vertical alignment. So what they learn in Form 1 will support what they learn in Form 2 and will support what they learn in Form 3. And we really don't want to teach students topics unless they're useful. So we're only going to include something if it's useful, if it's necessary to understand something, or it's on an international assessment. If it's something that won't be used again, it's going to be forgotten anyway, so we don't want to waste students' time. There are some teachers who really like a specific topic and they want to spend a lot of time teaching it. It's not aligned to the syllabus, but it's something they like. We try to avoid things of that nature because it's really a waste of time for students. And sometimes when you go off on a tangent like that, you end up teaching something that's very complex. It's confusing to the students and it breaks the flow of their learning. So we're trying to make sure that everything is supporting what they need to know next. So we know that curricula cannot stand alone. We need to have a pedagogy and assessments that match. So we'll be teaching the teachers and trainers in professional development, the pedagogy that works with our teaching materials, and all of our assessments will be built so that they match what students are learning in the classroom. We don't want to assess students if we haven't previously taught and taught well and given lots of practice with the material on the assessments. Strong curricula is necessary, but it's not sufficient. If students aren't learning, the curriculum doesn't matter. So we want to make sure that the materials that we're designing are going to be helpful for your students, are going to give them lots of practice, so that what they're learning, they're actually going to remember and be able to utilize. And it needs to undergo continuous improvement. So everything that we do is editable. If you see anything that needs to be updated, your teachers or you can update it on your side, or we will also update things on our side and post them on the website so that everybody has the materials they need. And they're updated and the best materials to use with students. Any changes that we make should be adopted across the board. And then we're also going to have the matching pedagogy and assessments, professional development for your teachers and trainers so that they know how to use the materials. It matches up with the assessments that are being given to students. So we won't just be giving you 1 or 2 page course overviews. You're going to get all of the documents, slides, and materials to teach the course. By sharing that widely, we can make sure that all of your teachers have everything that they need for their students' success. So what you will expect to see when the website has been fully populated with the materials for Eswatini will be for each unit a presentation, classwork and homework, labs, assessments, and unit plans. So your teachers hopefully will not need to be creating new materials. They should have everything that they need so that they can work with their students and their time can be spent working with students and making sure that their students understand what they're being taught rather than creating materials for their teaching. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction to our library and how to find it on our website. So when you go to our website, www.njctl.org, you should have been given, or you should have received an email this week with a username and a password. And when you come for the first time, you'll see that there will be login or register. So you'll just click login and use the username, which is your email address, and password, which came to you via email, to log in. And then you'll have no problem downloading everything and seeing assessments. We don't make assessments available to students, so that's why you'll want to be logged in under your account because you're a teacher. When you are logged in, you'll click this drop-down menu where it says select state or region, and then you'll click Southern Africa. When you get to the Southern Africa page, it will look like this. We have our materials that are US aligned and our Southern Africa aligned materials. So this is the one that you're going to want to click. And when you click on that icon, you'll come to this screen. Mathematics is what you will want to look at. And this is science. But here's what you'll see when you click into mathematics. So there will be a Form 1 mathematics course, Form 2, and Form 3. When you click on one of those, you will find the units. This is science. Let me share. I've got the, so if I go into Southern Africa, I only have a screenshot for science, but I want to show you what mathematics looks like. All right. So here's, I clicked the drop down, I selected Southern Africa, which is down near the bottom. And then I click here. And then I'll go to mathematics. And so here is Form 1 mathematics. And with those, with the spreadsheet that I sent to you, you can see that each of your units are posted here. We suggested some sequence differences or some differences in the sequence. We can talk about that. What we wanted to do was we wanted to start with numerical concepts and build the foundation and go along what made sense to put together. And then we shifted into all of the geometry. And then we came into statistics, and we felt that this sequence would probably develop students' understanding a little bit better as far as building from one unit to the next. We can talk through these. All of them can be reorganized if there is a specific reason that you would like them in that order. We thought perhaps it was, I'm sure it was intentional, and we'll talk through what will work best. All right, I'm going to come back to my presentation. Once you click on a unit, it will look like this. You'll see that there's a spot for the presentation. The unit plan will be listed under the teacher resources, classwork and homework, and labs and assessments. Again, if one of your students comes to the website, they will not be able to download assessments. So only teachers that are logged in on the website can see assessments. So we sent a curriculum alignment spreadsheet. I know that you've seen those. These spreadsheets illustrate the standards that we're going to be taught and where they're found in existing materials. They lay out our suggested initial unit sequence. So we will talk about that and if that will work for you. Here is our mathematics spreadsheet, and I know that you sent one back, so I'm excited and interested to hear your feedback. But these are just where the standard is taught in our existing materials. We will be realigning and we'll be creating new presentations that are specifically for Eswatini. So your teachers will not be expected to juggle through multiple presentations. We will put that all together in one unit, which will have its matching classwork, homework, its matching assessments. So I just wanted to make sure that that was well understood. as NJCTL develops the materials, we'll post those on the website. We'll be submitting curriculum for review on a rolling schedule once a month, and we're about a month in, so by Wednesday we'll have some units posted on the website. For now, we're going to post the presentations so that you'll have access to those. You can read through those. The typical system for review, and I think it will probably be Leonard, who is that one person to be the contact from your side. Typically, we have one person that will be the contact on each side. So I'll be the contact from NJCTL. I believe Leonard will be the contact from your side. And then each month I'll let Leonard know what is new that has been posted. We only have a few months, so you'll get kind of a chunk at a time of presentations. And then you can review those. And if you could share any comments or concerns with us within a couple of weeks via email, that'd be really helpful. So that concludes my portion. I just wanted to make sure that we had a good understanding of so that you knew kind of what our goals were and how we were planning to execute the project. And I will turn it back over to you, Leonard, so that you can facilitate the trainers giving us feedback.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Susan, for your presentation. I think it is straightforward and it's easy to follow. Thank you so much. Now, maybe before I give an opportunity to my colleagues to react to your presentation, I think let me just ask one or two questions from what you have presented. Now, I'm not too sure whether you can completely eliminate memorization, especially in maths.
Yeah.
Because you're saying that the intention is to eliminate memorization. I think there are a lot of formulas in maths which you have to memorize. For instance, the formula for a straight line, y is equal to mx plus c. We have to know that.
Sure.
There are so many formulas, especially in science in general, in STEM.
So we've had a lot of conversation about that on our side recently. It's not that students won't know them. It's that they won't memorize them simply for the purpose of memorization. Our position is that they would use them so much that they would become part of their memory simply by using them repeatedly. But rather than sitting down, and hopefully they won't have to sit down and with a flashcard and try to memorize that. Hopefully the goal is that they will use it so often that it will become a part of their long-term memory.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for that response. Sure. But maybe the colleagues will also say something on that. And then maybe the last one that maybe I want to comment on is about the fact that the materials are editable. But anyway, I think I've answered that, well, there is some kind of control because we have, you send us the materials, the site, we look at the materials, the updates, and then if we have any comments or we want to incorporate some new, information on the materials, then we do that, and then we send them over to you. Also have a look at them, and then I think we have to agree before it is actually uploaded and updated in the website. So I was a bit uncomfortable that everyone could actually do that. But anyway, I think there's some kind of control in doing that. Yeah. Which is good. Yeah.
That makes sense. They are editable, but nobody can publish them on the website except for us.
Oh,
so, yeah, they won't.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
That's a good point, though.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now I'll hand over to, I don't know, maybe let me start with the Senior Inspector for Mathematics, Mamkwena. If you want to have any reactions before the other colleagues come in, I'll hand over to you, Mamkwena, and then the other colleagues can also react to Susan's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Turner, and thank you, Susan, for your presentation. Actually, it is clearing up certain questions that I may have had, especially when it talks to the links that you sent us, where in one link you'll find so many concepts such that you'll have to maybe choose the ones that you think are relevant.
Yeah.
But if you are saying we're still going to be very specific on the content, I think I'm okay with that. And then when you talk to the sequencing, we did talk about the sequencing because our teaching syllabus doesn't talk to the sequencing. It just says at Form 1, this is what you have to cover. So
Okay.
it doesn't talk to the sequencing. So we had actually thought that maybe we would need to sit down again and look at the sequencing. So if you have already started the sequencing yourself, that is okay. I think it will be a good starting point for us to actually see if we indeed agree with that, or maybe we need some improvements here and there when
Perfect.
it comes to the sequencing. I think we'll just need to meet as a team, decide and look at them critically. It's not that easy to just make a decision
I
now.
agree.
But what I'm sure of is just that it will be just a movement. That's all.
Sure.
Move this to be the third topic or to be this. I think that is what it will be. And
Sure.
yes, and when you are looking at I mean, at your presentation, vertical alignment, I think materials that we are currently using, at least the vertical alignment, it is something that we adhere to a lot, such that you may find that, say maybe when you talk of fractions and decimals, maybe you may find that they're not in the same kind of unit, the way that you have said it. Maybe we'll do fractions and then decimals later,
Okay.
etc. So the vertical alignment with us, it is within the level Form 1, and it is
Okay.
also within the whole Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. So I think there's still a lot that we need to do
Okay.
in that one. Yes, so we're looking forward actually to the materials, the real materials content that is covering the syllabus, so that you can comment on them. I think I may stop here for now, Mr. Taylor.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
I wanted to just say a couple of things just to address some of the things that you talked about. Quickly, we will be posting things this week, so you will be able to start to see some of the presentations that have been aligned. But I also wanted to show you that probably the easiest way to see the sequence that we're suggesting is to come here to the website and go to each form, because you'll see that the sequence goes across and then comes down. This is probably easier to see at a glance than on the spreadsheet that I sent, because things are not necessarily in order. So if you come here, and then you can see Form 2 at a glance. And then you can see also Form 3 at a glance. So when you're talking together with your team, this may be the easiest way for you to see it. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Kwena. And thank you so much, Susan, for your response to some of the issues that she raised during her presentation, during her comments. Now, can we have the other colleagues, please? say something on the presentation that Susan made? Do you have anything to say, colleagues?
I think maybe Mr. Taylor, maybe it's just good time that we make our own presentations
Okay,
on what we noted.
all right, okay.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Kwena and colleagues. Now, I think like I've been advised by the Senior Inspector of Mathematics, let's move on now and make our own presentations to the NJCTL team. Maybe the way we did it, Susan, if I may just give a background.
Sure.
During our internal meeting when we met last week on Wednesday, we divided ourselves into 3 groups. There was a group that was looking at the Form 1 content, and the group that was looking at the Form 2 content, and then the last group that was focusing on the Form 3 content.
Okay.
So the way we've planned it is that we're going to have one colleague who's going to present on their discussions for the Form 1 content and so on, Form 2, and finally Form 3. So at this point in time, I'm going to hand over to the colleague that we requested to present on behalf of the Form 1 group. Over to you, colleague. Please, the floor is yours now.
But maybe before that, Mr. Taylor, maybe we would need to do the general comments.
Okay, all right. Please go ahead.
Yes. Okay, Susan, under the general comments, there is one thing that we noted was missing in our syllabus that we gave you. There is a part that you didn't capture.
Okay.
Which is done in Form 3.
Okay.
And that is called additional mathematics. It is still in the same syllabus, and it is done in Form 3. So in Form 3, they do the little part of maths that is remaining, and for the rest of the year, they do the additional mathematics.
Okay. That means
So you just missed that big chunk. Towards the end of our syllabus. So I think you may want to look at that.
absolutely. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yes.
To make sure that I know
Yes. So that is one major thing that we noted was missing. And then in your spreadsheet, we looked at the headings that were there.
Yes.
And then, according to our understanding, we sort of tried to rearrange them, whether it makes sense or not. But you are starting with the unit stroke module, right? Maybe if you can just put the spreadsheet.
Sure.
Just one of the spreadsheets,
yeah.
Whether it's Form 1 or Form 2, it doesn't matter. Can you?
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you. So in that spreadsheet of the unit or module, name, then topic, subtopic, length of a period and standards, okay. We agreed with the topic as it stands.
Okay.
But we felt that when it comes to the subtopics, to us, it looks like it is the expected standard. So we felt that maybe where it's a subtopic, we could write standards.
Okay.
And then where it comes to their standards, we felt that that is the content. We felt that there we can write content. What is the content to cover the standards? And then when we looked at the length, we felt that where it is just disturbing the flow. So we felt that maybe this column could come before the top peak, could just come immediately after the module unit, would just be the second column, just after the module unit. That is what we thought. That
Okay.
with this unit, you'll use so many periods, and then it comes. Yeah,
Okay.
topic standard content. Yes, that is what
Perfect.
we looked at.
Okay.
And then, yeah, thank you for that change. So it changes in all the spreadsheets.
Yes, I'll make that change. Thank you.
Yes, good. And then let me just say it, because we have said we are still going to make the content, but let me just say what we noticed, because with some of the links we're able to open them.
Yes.
A few though. With those that we opened, we discovered that when it comes to conversion and maybe units, we felt let us stick to our SI units, centimeters, meters, kilometers, centimeters squared, etc. The ones that are in the syllabus, instead of the feet, the inches, the yards, etc. So we felt when it comes to units, let us try to stick to the units that are in the syllabus, because they're still going to write a similar examination as the rest of the students.
Okay.
Have you captured that one?
That, I mean, how sticky is that? Because that's actually, it seems like something that would be very small, but it's actually a very big update. In some places it would be easy, but in other places it would be difficult. I think that we utilize both centimeters, meters, kilometers, as well as yards, feet, inches, both in the United States and around the world. And to only use centimeters, meters, kilometers would require us to change every single problem where yards, inches, and feet are used. And that would then also require that we re-record all of the presentations, which I don't know, we can look at changing homework and classwork is a lot easier because there are no recordings, but would it be amenable to change some but not all? So that students have, they see more than just, because we also, our typical unit of measure in the United States is feet, inches, but we also use centimeters, meters with our students so that they have an understanding of, so that they're familiar with or have heard all of the units, and units are interchangeable. So as long as they're learning how to do the mathematics, I don't know. I'm just curious how important that is to you.
It is very important, especially when it comes to conversion, because we shouldn't cloud them with other conversions that will not be there in their syllabuses. But having an example that just talks to feet, this is so many feet, do the calculations, find the answer. But when it comes to then making conversions, then that will be a problem, because then they would have to, like Tsela said, memorize lots.
I understand.
Whereas they need to memorize what is in their syllabus. So I think you just need to be careful on the examples.
Okay.
They shouldn't involve conversion, but we'll look at them as we have presented them, as we present them, and see what can be done.
So
and then another issue.
let me recap really quickly to be sure that I understand. It sounds
Yes.
like in the instance of perhaps finding area of a triangle, it might be okay if that was given in a unit of measure that you're not using necessarily in your syllabus. However, if it were converting from, say, centimeters to meters to kilometers, that is where it's especially important that students are using the standard measure in your syllabus. Am I capturing that correctly?
I think that is what I'm saying is just a balance.
Yeah, we don't want students to have to know there's 5,280 feet in a mile or
Absolutely not.
12 inches in a foot and 36
No.
inches in a yard or something like that.
For sure.
We
Okay,
can take those out.
absolutely.
If they're there, we can
They're
take them
there.
out.
They may not be, because I think oftentimes when we do conversions, we will do it in centimeters and meters because it's a much easier conversion, but we will be very mindful of that. Thank you.
Okay. And then when it comes to writing big numbers, that is maybe a 5-figure number, 6-figure number. We discovered that here you separate them using commas, whereas in our syllabuses we just separate them by a space between the 3 digits.
Okay.
You just space, yes. And then what we also noticed with angles, we noticed that you were sometimes labeling angles as angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, 4, 5, 6. Like which one are supplementary, etc., etc. We felt that we don't usually label angles using numbers. We label them mostly using letters, small letters, A, B, C, D, etc., etc. We felt that if there's too much of that, then it might bring in some bit of confusion.
Okay.
Yes. I think maybe other colleagues can talk to general issues, but I think these are the ones that I have captured, at least with the few links that we're able to open. Otherwise, then maybe we would need to go to the specific presentation form by form.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
If there's no one, then we can hand over to Pesha.
All right, maybe before Pesha takes the floor, can I just say something? I want to emphasize what she has just said with regards to the units, because our system this side, emphasizes the use of SI units. You see, the SI units, what we are using this side. So for both science and maths, actually.
Yes.
So yes, the emphasis is on the SI units. So I think we must seriously take that into consideration when we are designing these materials, and try to minimize the use of these other units that we are using in the US, because like she said, these students that are going to be on the PMI, PSI, they will take the same examinations as the rest of the students.
Sure.
So, and even as they continue their education system, as long as they are this side of, of the world,
yeah,
the emphasis is on the SI units, not the feet and all these other things, the yards and all that. We are emphasizing the centimeter, the meter, yeah, and all the SI units as you know them. So please try by all means to take that into consideration.
Absolutely.
Yes, and also the issue of angles, like she has rightly pointed out. You have, say, maybe question 1, and then the angle is also the angle 1, so it causes a bit of confusion. So the way the notation that we use this side is either it's a small letter or the three letters angle A, B, C. So, or angle A, not to have angle number 1. So please seriously consider that one as well. I just wanted to emphasize the point, those 2 points that she has actually raised. Thank you so much, Ma'am Kwena. I don't know, but you'd already said that maybe we should hand over to Mr. Malinga at this point to continue the formal presentation. Mr. Malinga, are you there?
I had a
Mali-
quick question about the lowercase
Yes, Mr.
letters, just so
Taylor.
that, sorry.
Okay, maybe
I was typing as well too. Sorry. Go ahead.
no problem, Maria. Maybe you can pause and then so that we finish with this part. Can you just go ahead and say whatever you wanted to say, Maria? Over to you.
No, I think Audra was about to say it, so go ahead, Audra.
Or
Yeah,
it's Audra,
so
not
I
Maria.
just,
Okay.
it's okay, no problem. I just had a question about how you would like for the letters to be used. Are those lowercase letters that you're referring to used more so as solving for the value of a variable? Is that kind of what you're talking about with the lowercase letters, or something different? I just want to make sure my understanding is correct.
Okay, thank you for that one. Thank you for that one, Audra. In as far as the angles are concerned, yes, if you use one letter, it is the lowercase. But then if you use 3 letters, like you say, this is angle A, B, C with the cap
Yes.
on the B.
Yes.
So that is the uppercase. But if you just use one letter, the small letter is the small letter A, angle A. Yes, that is the notation that we use this side.
How do you label the sides of the triangle or line
Okay.
segments?
Yeah, usually it's capital letters, uppercase.
Because vertices are capital letters, right?
Yes,
Exactly.
vertices, capital letters. The universal way of labeling any polygon is that capital letters are used for vertices and angles, and sides are labeled with the lowercase letters. If we start to use
That's
lowercase,
what I'm worried about. If we're using sides as lowercase letters and angles that become lowercase letters, does that get confusing?
that was my concern, Bob. Thank you.
All right, but maybe the medicine inspector is here. She can say something on that as well before we move on to Mr. Malina. Madam Kwena, please.
Thank you. I think it is just unfortunate that we don't have a version, I mean, of our textbooks that we don't have a soft copy that we can send to you. However, when you label a line, you can use both actually. You can use the uppercases line A, B, or you can label the line as A, small letter. And what you are doing right now, yes, it is angle A, like you have just done. And you put an arc, of course, to show that it is an angle.
Yes. Like that, yes.
So is this example a good one? Like you prefer the lowercase letters there with like a degree symbol afterwards, and it's considered sort of as solving for a variable, like writing an equation and solving the equation for the lowercase variable?
Yeah, boo.
Exactly.
Whoever's
My
doing,
question would be if we were drawing a triangle and asking for the missing parts of a triangle. Audra, could you erase that and draw a triangle?
yeah, that's what I'm curious about. How do you do a triangle?
Yeah, we label with capital letters at the vertices and lowercase letters. By definition, the opposite side of angle A is lowercase a, is side lowercase a.
Yes.
So we cannot label that little angle in there as little a. It would have to be
We
big
could
A
do
or
this.
EAC.
Yes, you are doing it right. We're just saying use this instead of the numbers. Otherwise, if you are looking at the angle A, you say angle BAC. So we know that you are talking of the angle at vertex. A, or if you call it X, that's okay. We're looking at that angle X degrees, but it's fine. Of course, the opposites, those we now use them when we are looking at this formula for the sine formula, the cosine formula, yes. We understand it like that. But putting a number there inside at the vertex A and putting a 1 and then saying, what is angle 1? That is what we're not used to. And that is what we think it will bring confusion.
Okay.
Yes.
But it would be, it's okay to use, from your side, capital letters to label the vertices and lowercase to label the sides.
Exactly. That's the notation you also use. So
Perfect.
for the vertex, yeah, I think that one is universal all over the world.
Yes. Perfect.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's universal. The vertices are capital letters. Then the side opposite is like you have indicated in
Right.
your example.
Perfect.
That is the notation. But the challenge that we're raising is that let us try and avoid using numbers
Wonderful.
for the angles. Yes, you can use
Instead,
like
the variable notation is
yeah, like the variable
probably
notation.
good for
Yes,
that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see the hand of
I-
Faith. Faith, did you want to say something? There was a colleague who was raising her hand. Maybe before Babe Malinga,
No.
makes his presentation. Your hand was up.
Yes,
Sorry?
my hand was up, but you've already mentioned what I wanted to mention, that our problem is that if you label the angle with a number and yet you are looking for another number, you say angle 2 is 180. I mean, it will confuse our learners to say the angle that is a number is equal to another number in degrees. That is what we're asking you to please try and consider. But we understand that it is just a way of noting that there are 5 angles there, but usually we use the letters. And for the vertices, as they've said, we usually say since an angle is the gap between 2 lines, and if the line segments is line AB and the line BC, then their vertex, the corner where they meet is B. So that when we use the capital letters, we say the angle is angle A, B, C, and then the B will be noted with the arrow on top to show that this is the vertex we're looking at, and it is formed by these 2 line segments. That is when we use the capital letters. Thank you.
Thank you. I think
Thank
that
you,
aligns with what we typically do. So I think we'll be okay there, but I appreciate you clarifying.
Thank you so much. I think we've spent enough time on this one. Can we have Mr. Malinga make his presentation, please? Over to you, Bob Malinga.
By the way, for our,
Thank-
I just, this is Bob, just, I went to the Eswatini website and I noticed that, because I was looking for how numbers are written,
That's
and I see
the
that
wrong-
you don't
Oh,
use
sorry.
commas.
Oh, great. Thank you for noting that one, Bob, as well. I think it's something that came up in our discussions as well. Yes. And I think we forgot to mention it in our remarks. Even it skipped my colleague, Ms. Mkwena. Yes, we don't use commas. Usually we
I
come
did
across
mention that.
commas when you are looking at figures that have to do with currency. Like after three digits you put a comma, after 3 digits you put a comma, like Excel does for you automatically when you are doing things like budgeting. But when you're talking about mathematics, we don't usually use commas.
Actually, this is currency, and they don't use commas here either. But it does make it hard to read, I think. But that's not my decision.
But put a space after 3.
Yes.
After 3 digits. After the 100.
This is from your government website. I think when they start putting things into Excel and
Oh yeah,
computers,
the Excel does its own things.
they don't add spaces, therefore you don't
Yeah,
have
but
commas,
when
then
we teach our children, we put spaces for.
but it's when you put everything in a spreadsheet, there's no spaces.
Okay.
No,
But
we're
anyway,
just telling you, please, to remove the commas, Bob.
Then you use commas, right? In a spreadsheet, you have commas.
yeah, thank
'Cause
you so much.
Otherwise, spreadsheets don't have a way of putting spaces in. So I think these numbers are kind of hard to read, aren't they? When you read the number like that.
No, yeah, I agree with you, but thanks for noting that one. Really, it's a very important point. It's a very important point for us, for the materials that you are designing for us, because
Yes,
the commas
please.
will bring a confusion. So please make sure that you just remove them.
Remove
We
comma,
don't
add space.
we don't use them this side. Like she's
Yeah,
saying, we
put
usually leave a space after 3 digits. We leave a space. So please make sure
the
that you remove the
space.
commas. Yes.
I have a
Thank you.
question related to that. If we remove the commas and add a space for all of the learner materials, would it be okay for the teachers to have them and the trainers to have them when they go through our online graduate course? So provided that everything that is facing a child or a student is in the correct format, would it be okay for what adults see? Because they know that sometimes it's done differently. Would it be okay to have the commas for adults? The reason I ask is that we have those courses already created for adults, and it's going to be an extremely long process to just go through every question and remove commas and add spaces.
No, it's very interesting. I
But
think
Susan, we're talking, you are aligning, so we're just telling you what works for us.
Sure, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Is it okay for you to have the student-facing materials? This is a serious question. I need to know, is it okay for the adults to see with commas? For trainers and teachers.
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. Are you requesting us to allow you not to align that the teacher materials? Is that your request?
Yeah, my request is that for teacher materials, would it, and only in the online courses, not in the materials that would be posted on the website to use with students. But for the teachers, is it okay for them to see commas? Would they be confused by that?
It is also generally like in Lesotho where we worked, we used commas there, and it never came up as a question. And if students go to the United States or Britain for university, everyone uses commas. It is true that in continental Europe and in Argentina they don't use commas, but they use periods. This is the first I've heard of not using a comma or a period, because you can't introduce spaces into computer programs, and it's very difficult. And if you don't have spaces, then the numbers, 10-digit number is impossible to read hardly without a period or a comma. I don't know how. Are there other countries that you know of that do this?
But the period, you use it to show a
Yeah,
decimal.
you see.
With a decimal point.
Yeah, but in some
That's where
countries, they do it the opposite.
that's why you use a period.
In some
No,
countries,
what
they use the period for the comma and the comma for the decimal point. It's just a different way that it's done, like in South America, as Bob was saying.
I've never heard of not using anything to punctuate numbers, because the numbers become very hard to read.
Bob, when it comes after the ones or the units, you have a decimal point. That's a period. But when you have the whole numbers, after 3 digits, then you space.
But
then you get 2 millions, then you space.
If you use Excel or a computer program, how do you tell to introduce spaces?
Please let us not argue about this.
Okay, we don't have to argue. We don't have to
I've
argue.
just given
We'll
you
just-
the feedback.
Sure.
That's
don't-
all.
Okay. So
Yeah, you wanted
we've
feedback. I'm
agreed
just
to keep
giving
the
you what works for
commas.
us.
We don't have to
Mm.
argue. We'll just keep the commas.
No.
It will depend whether I will say these materials are okay or not, because
Yeah. Okay. I understand it's a challenge.
because
Well,
I'm
is
just
how
looking
it
around
is.
to see if there's, do you know of other countries that do this by any chance? I'm just
well,
curious.
Let us not
I-
argue about this, Shem. Please, let us move on. Please.
okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
that's
much.
not a point for argument.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, colleagues. I think we need to move on to the next, presentation. I
Thank you.
think just to conclude on this one, Bob and colleagues, we will have to discuss it again internally and then give you feedback. Because I think the point that Susan was raising was that, is it okay for the teachers, for the teacher material to have the commas? And then for the students, it will be the notation that we normally use in our education system. I think that is the point. And then we are saying that let us discuss it internally and then we'll give you feedback later on this one.
Okay.
But otherwise, I think it's not possible for us to conclude on it and then give you, a concrete response at this time. So for the sake of progress, let's just move on to Mr. Malinga to give us the presentation. Over to you, Malinga.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Susan, how are you with your team?
Great, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine.
Wonderful.
We're given the task to look at, by the way, my name is Pesha Malinga.
Nice.
We're given the task to look at Form 1. Most of the things that I will report on, or I wanted to report on, especially the issue of the headings, has
Sure.
been covered.
Yes.
So I'm not going to waste time talking about the headings. I think our senior inspector was explicit on the issue of the headings. I hope, Susan, you got that.
Yes, I've changed it in the spreadsheet.
Yes, thank you. Then we, as a team that was looking at the Form 1 syllabus, we looked at the spreadsheet and we looked at our Form 1 syllabus. We were so happy that everything was captured in the spreadsheet. So Susan, with your team, you did a very good job there. You captured everything from our syllabus.
Perfect.
Then I will also only now concentrate on the last column where we're looking at the comments. The column K. I hope you can see it, Susan, with the team.
We can.
Yes. So there we tried to open one of the sites. We were able to open that site. We saw some of the examples that were given there, and we observed that some of the examples, they use the base 2 system, yet for our local content, especially in Form 1, we use the base 10 system, not the base 2. It was just one of the examples that were given.
Okay.
I hope you're following that, Susan.
Yes.
Just keep in mind that we use base 10 instead of base 2 when you give the examples.
Okay.
Yes. Then scrolling down, we look at the case of place value of a digits. We saw there was a gap there under topics and updates needed and location in the existing OER. There was nothing there, just to highlight that we felt that there was a missing information there.
That's not posted on our website, but we have the materials written just for another purpose, and we will put them together.
Thank you. Then scrolling down, some few issues that we also the issue of drawing angles of a given size. I think that's the issue we're talking about now.
Yep.
We saw that in your topics and updates needed, there was nothing there.
Yes, there's
Yes.
a notation that says in column I, write this, so we will be
Yes.
writing that material for you.
Thank you. Then also there was the issue of, if we scroll down, I think there was some missing information here, reading and use of linear scales of measurements
Yes.
under H and I.
Mhm.
Yes, just to note those information was missing.
Perfect.
Yes, then
That was as we expected too, because when you see it's blank, it doesn't exist in our mathematics materials, so we'll be writing that specifically for those presentations.
okay. Then there was this issue on the mappings, where you had a question under column K.
Perfect.
What
Thank
does what does this mean, mapping? Is it function maps? Basically, in Form 1, we were introducing the concept of functions. So we use the term mappings, where you will have an input and an output. So it is just an introduction to functions. We do not necessarily go into detail, like we do not use the f of x function. It's just a mapping machine. We call it it's a mapping machine where you put an input, then there's a process or an operation, then you get the output. That's what we meant by the mappings.
Audra, does that mesh?
Yes, thank you so much for the feedback. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Thank you.
Yep.
Then moving on, it's, I think the last one or last two. When you ask about the inequalities, do they use the two-step inequality? No, in Form 1 you only use the one step. So we
Perfect.
gave an example there that, for example, y is less than 3.
Okay, how about like y plus 1 is less than 5, and then they solve it by using an inverse operation? Is that required at this level or no?
No, at this level
Okay.
it's just the shading. Where they
Okay.
shade, they do not solve, they shade. Yeah. Basically, Susan, with the team, I think with our group 1, those were our comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much for the feedback.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malinga. I don't know from your team whether they want to have an addition or before maybe we move on to the next presentation for Form 2. You are working with Mr. Shoma, right?
Yes, Mr. Sir.
I'm not too sure whether Shoma is still here because he said he was having other commitments at his to the station. But
Oh, okay.
otherwise, I think we appreciate the presentation that they've just made. Thank you so much. I don't know from the NJCTL team, do you have more reactions to the presentation by Mr. Malinga?
No, that was exactly as we expected. Those
Yes.
those parts that were missing are parts that we already expected to be missing and we'd be writing, and the questions answered were very helpful.
Okay, thank you so much, Susan.
Thank
Let's
you.
move on to the next presentation, to the Form 2 presentation. Over to you. Form 2 presenter.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Okay. The material that we're looking at, my name is Hlengiwe Shong. The material that we were looking at with my team was Form 2. So I think some of the issues have already been talked to already. So I will just brush through them. The issue of units, when we looked at the first topic, which is on significant digits, we noticed the issue on units, the SI units instead of the feet and the yards and the pounds.
Okay.
And also
Okay, I think you already said something about your material that you're still going to have one for us. So, because when we looked through the website, we could not open some of your material, and we also could not find some of this, but I think you already talked to that.
Okay.
And in here, when it comes to topic 5, addition and subtraction of integers, we noticed the use of, oh my God. We noticed, sorry about that.
That's okay. The use of rational numbers.
Okay. We noticed the use of, I kept clicking on this, and can I just close that? Okay, on topic 5, we noticed the use of rational numbers, the word rational numbers, and we thought it was a bit early for our Form 2s. We don't use it until Form 3.
Okay.
That is topic 5 for that. And then under topic 5, where we're talking about the, I'm sorry, I keep clicking on this, yeah. There's a lot of things on my screen. When we were talking about order of operations under the topic, I hope you can see that.
Yeah.
Under the subtopic, there was where it's under the subtopic, use the 4 operations on directed numbers. There's missing part under standards, using the labeling you were using. Under standards, we noticed there was a missing part on multiplication and division of directed numbers.
Okay.
I hope you're capturing that.
Yes.
And then moving down to vectors, where under your comments you had should we use magnitude? I think that was a question. Should we remove magnitude under vectors? Our comment was that our magnitude is not done in Form 2. It is not done in Form 2. It is only done in Form 3. So please do remove magnitude for the Form 2s.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I think basically I have, let me check if I've captured everything. There's vectors, and then in the topic about expressions under unit or module expressions, we thought maybe, but you talked to the sequencing, but our feeling was that you should start with algebraic expressions and then algebraic fractions after algebraic expressions, because algebraic fractions are more complex than fractions for our Form 2s.
Audra, does that make sense? And did we have something where fractions were used algebraically before?
For your algebraic fractions, is there a variable only in the numerator or also in the denominator? Like, does it appear in both or just one of them?
I think we have examples there in your material. We have the variable on both the numerator and the denominator. It's just that some of the fractions have, on the denominator, they have numerators. Some of the fractions on the denominator, they have letters, but it's the same variable on the denominator.
Okay, are they ever different? Okay, the numbers in the denominator can be different, but is there always a variable that's the same in the denominator, or could they also have something like 2/3a times 4/5?
Yes,
And
they
there
can
is
have,
no variable there. They can have that too. Okay.
yes.
So the suggestion is to change the order of the expressions and the solution of linear equations? Is that, I just want to be sure that I'm understanding what that suggestion is.
The suggestion is that under your standards,
Yes.
it starts with simplification of algebraic fractions, ne? And then comes simplification of algebraic expressions. So we thought
Oh, okay.
the algebraic expressions should come first, then
I
the
understand. Okay.
algebraic.
Yes, I do too. And I completely agree with that comment.
Thank you. I think, and then there was a part on, as you scroll down on
For trigonometry,
trigonometry, that's trigonometry, that's topic 14.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
There was a comment that where you were asking if calculators can be used instead of the 3-figure tables. And for our Form 2s, they don't use calculators yet until Form 3. So no calculators for the Form 2s yet.
So then how are they solving trigonometry problems without a calculator? Or are they just writing the fractions for, say, sine, cosine, and tangent, and then just leaving them as a fraction and not doing anything?
They use the 3-figure tables. They use the 3-figure tables where the 3-figure tables give them the ratios, and then it also gives them the angles, I think,
Do they have to interpolate?
vice versa. So they have to read through the table.
Do they have to interpolate, or do they just use the closest answer?
Do they? No, they don't. They just pick it from the table. I hope
So
I
if the answer is sine 45, they just look up 0.707.
Yes, they look for, they have a table where they have the angles, so they go through that table, and also they have the table where they have it vice versa, and they go through the table again.
But they won't have to do 45.6 degrees. They'll just do around 45 or 46.
Yes, they round off to one decimal place.
So they don't have to interpolate between two values. They can just read the table.
They just read the table.
Okay.
Thank you.
Would you guys be able to supply us with like a common table resource that you use for those? So then that way we can model that in the videos.
I'm not sure. Maybe the SI would have a comment on that. I haven't seen a soft copy, but we do have a hard copy at the back of their books.
When they take an exam, I assume that the 3 columns or tables are in the exam.
They are provided with the tables during
So
exam time.
if you could scan a copy of the table that's in
Yes.
the exam, that would be the best.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think
I guess we can scan those for you.
Because we'll actually put that into a slide so that we teach them how to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
In fact, by the way, any tables or formulas that are given to students during tests, if you could give us that would be very helpful. If the students,
we will check if there are any, but probably there are none, but we'll check. And then
any reference tables or formulas that are provided to students during tests would be great.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. check. So now we know we have to scan for you the tables.
Okay.
Anyway, good day. I would say where matrices, where you say this is topic 1, topic 2. Also check under matrices.
With matrices,
Go down.
was it?
No,
No, yes,
mm.
we then agreed with their
Mhm.
arrangement with matrices. I think you had suggested that first you write the
Oh,
order
yeah.
and then comes addition of your topic 2 was multiplication of a matrix by a scalar, and then
Mhm.
topic 3 was addition and subtraction of matrices. In our syllabus, we have it the other way around, but I think in our meeting, we then agreed your sequencing it does no
We said
harm.
it's okay.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
I think that would be all for the Form 2s.
Bob, did you
Thank
see my note about our staff meeting? We have our full staff meeting in 8 minutes, so I just wanted to know if we should let Maureen know to push that back.
All right, thank you so much. Maybe then, because you have another meeting after this, so let's quickly move on to the next one, the last one.
Sorry, I'm muted. How much more time do you think we need for this meeting? Because we have another meeting also in 10 minutes.
Okay, we haven't yet presented our Form 3,
Okay.
feedback. Please allow us to make a presentation, maybe 10 minutes or so.
Okay, I'll tell our the other people that will be a little bit late. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Margaret. Faith, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Faith Lamini. For the Form 3, this is what we discovered in the Form 3. When it comes to the topic on finding squares and square roots, we couldn't find, when we checked your material, the one that we're able to access, we're only able to access the PDF slides that were there. We did not find anything on finding squares and the square roots of, square roots of positive numbers. Yet we use them in our syllabus. Like when they're supposed to memorize the squares of all numbers from 1 squared to 20 squared, because they're not using a calculator. And then when they have to find, say, the square root now, when they now have to find the square root of 900, for instance, when they have to find the square root of 900, so they have to know that they use the rule that the product of a square root is the same as the product of the as the square root of the product. So that rule we couldn't find, yet we need it since they don't use calculators, and we usually teach them that one. And then on the part on this one, on the numbers, we were saying we usually don't write commas. That one has already been covered. And then on construction of regular polygons, we were expecting to find it under properties of shapes. We expected to find it on properties of shapes. Unfortunately, we couldn't, but we were happy to find it under transformations in your case. So we're just making you aware that if it is possible, that you just move that part on construction of regular polygons back to under where they learn about finding the interior angles, the exterior angles, and then the construction part. Just to let you join there. It can still be there on transformations later, but we also need it under construction. We were also happy with most of the information was there, but we discovered that with enlargement, which is what you call what do you call it, by the way?
Dilation.
Dilation.
Or your dilations, yes. With your dilations, which is what we call the transformation enlargement in our case, we could not find the dilation using a negative scale factor, yet it is in our syllabus. They have to know how to enlarge any figure if the scale factor is negative, where the center will be in the middle of the image and the object. And we were happy to discover that you're using, for the image, you're using for the object, you're using a pre-image, and for the image, which is what we usually use, you are using image. So we were just asking that if it's possible in the student material, we like them to be universal. So we don't mind the pre-image, but we also want them to know the object, because that is what they are currently using. So they know that another name for an object is a pre-image, but please allow the object to be there. And then when we went to, where are we now? And then the other part, what is it that we then discovered? On inequalities, there's a part on inequalities where we expect you to, our learners are supposed to, where is it? Inequalities, yes. Under inequalities, they're supposed to graph inequalities. In your content, we were able to find you graphing inequalities using a number line, and it was good, and we like your examples. But in their syllabus, they also plot the slanting lines now, the line y is equal to 2x plus 3, and then they're supposed to use that as a boundary and represent the inequality, say y is greater than 2x plus 3. So they're supposed to know what is it they're supposed to do in such a case. And that one was not found. Where they shade, they represent the inequality by shading. And the line becomes a boundary, and then they have to shade and show where it is. That is why we say it's missing. What else it was there? Oh, the other part that was not there is then the additional mathematics part. I'm not sure if I left anything. Oh, the other part that was missing is on limits of accuracy. On limits of accuracy, in our case, we use the place values. In your case, the content, I think our content wasn't clear for you, because under limits of accuracy, we use, we don't just do the rounding off, but we want them to know that a number is accurate within limits, and they must know how to find those limits. If the number is given, if it is 2.75, they must know that how to find the upper and the lower limit, the bound, that it cannot be just, you can't just move it to anything, but it has limits. So it has to do with the place values and the rounding off and the significant figures and under
That's
limits.
right at the beginning.
I think that's the only thing that we discovered.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Okay.
thank you.
I
And
had
then-
a quick question about that last one. Are you asking them like what percentage accuracy they are for that? Or is it like, I guess more of like an elaboration of that?
I think it,
Under this
it's
one,
Yes.
what we do, in your case, you had said they must find, this is what you took from us, that finds the upper and lower bounds for a given specified accuracy. So we are saying what we usually want them to do there. Did I even write it? We want them to know how to find the upper, I mean, like we usually tell them that they apply limits in in what we use in daily life. Like when we say this bridge, a car that can pass through must not be more than 2.5 meters long. And then we tell them which ones qualify there. So they have to know how accurate is my 2.5. Even when it comes to dress sizes, that when we say you are size 34, there are some limits. The 34 can variate between 33.5 maybe to 34.9. Those are the limits we're talking about, that they must know that in life, a number is not just that number fixed. It is accurate, but how to find the limits, even with area. So we use those. We use with them in area, we use them in even in volume. They must know how to find the limits there, even by calculating first. That why would we say this land that you have bought, it is still accurate, even if you find that it looks a little bit smaller. They must know that this is how they calculated. They use the limit of accuracy, so it is within the required limits. So that's the part we use.
When they're saying specified accuracy, are they just talking about to a given place value?
Yes, like when we're saying we are given this area, the length is rectangular, and the length is given, say, 7.5 meters. And then you look at the 7.5 now. That 7.5, we look at the last digit. The last digit there tells us that the degree of accuracy that is given is up to the 10th.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we say, now you have to find the limits of the accuracy of tenths that will be applied to the 7.5, which means the 0.5 can move to, say, 7.55, or it can go down to 6.45. So, and we tell them that, yeah. So we tell them that if you were to find your length being 6.5 and they told you it's actually 7.5, it's accurate because they were using limits of accuracy. Because when you round up the 6.45, you are going, the 6.55,
7.45.
7.45. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or the,
Okay.
Yes, the 7.45. Yeah, when you round it up, you're going to get the 7.5. Yeah, we tell them something like that. That is where you use such examples.
To the nearest 10th. That makes sense.
And also
Okay.
to the nearest 20, to the nearest 30.
We also use that if we say to the nearest 30, we mean it is accurate within 30. The 30 is you have cut it into half. So it would be 10, 10, 10 up, 10 down. You add a 10, you subtracted 10. So the number is accurate. It's just in the middle there. We use those, but we can send you some examples if we can scan some of our examples.
Sure. That way we can see
Yes.
how that's used. Good. And then I see that I've got the syllabus in front of me. The additional mathematics we did not realize was a part of the Form 3 mathematics. So it looks like there are a few extra pages.
Yes.
Related to matrices.
Yes, with the additional math, some of the content, some of your content contains our additional math, like the magnitude of a vector that the Form 2 presenter spoke about. It is under our additional mathematics. The multiplication of a matrix by another matrix is also under our add math. So if you already have it, most of your content already has the things, just that you have to check and reclassify it. It's already there, some of it.
Okay.
Even with trigonometry, it's already there because you're already calculating using a calculator. That is what they do under our add math. So because you already have it, after you've been given maybe the content of an additional math, maybe you'll be able to reclassify, just move some of your content and make it align with our additional mathematics.
Okay, and then how do you, the additional mathematics, you said comes after, it's not integrated, like say for instance, you were saying the trigonometry, it's in our presentation. You want it though to be taken out of the presentation and put into another different additional topics or additional mathematics presentation that would come after, or to be continued in the Form 3 presentation? Are all Form 3 students expected to do additional mathematics?
Yes, they're all
Thank you.
expected, but
Thank you, sister.
our trigonometry is
Okay.
separated into two. The mathematics part is where they don't use a calculator, where they
Okay.
only go up to, under the rule of Pythagoras, they're only expected to find the square root of proper square numbers, or their products or products of two square numbers, where they can apply the rules, the rules for square roots. So that is under maths. But under maths, you can even include decimals because they're using now a calculator.
Okay.
I think the long and short of it is just that these are two, when they're examined as two different papers.
Okay.
Yes, so we would appreciate the additional maths to be just under Form 3, but written as maths and be just maths because it's a different paper
Okay. So
when
could
they're
we-
examined.
we would add like an additional unit called additional mathematics, and then there would be those smaller things that are taught in presentations under additional mathematics.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, please. Can I say one last thing as I'm aware I'm going to a meeting?
Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, our syllabus, our teaching syllabus hasn't been reviewed in a long time, such that you find that it has been overtaken by our assessment syllabus. So there is one or two topics that are in the assessment syllabus that are not in the teaching syllabus. We're asking if we could just send you, I think it's just one topic, one or two, that we could just send you and show you, maybe you could put this in Form 1
Okay.
or Form 2, etc. Please allow us to do that.
Yeah. I don't think that should be a problem. Send it, please, and we will take a look at it. We may already have it written, and then we would just need
Yes, I think you have.
to just determine where it would fit best.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. We'll do that.
Sure.
Mr. Taylor, we are
Okay, thank you so much, because you are pressed for time, that side. Thank you so much for the meeting. I don't think we need to have further discussions. I think we've discussed what we wanted to discuss, and I think we can end here.
Thank you.
For making yourselves available,
No problem.
colleagues, and also the NJCTL team. I think me and Susan will keep in touch as our contact that side, and yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll keep in touch, and we will update each other on the progress that we're making on the work before us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then
Mhm.
we'll
Bye,
send
everyone.
we'll send over the recording, and then we've already received your spreadsheet. I've shared it with our colleagues. And then we'll be waiting for those couple of topics that you're gonna send to us. And then also
Yes.
we're gonna add
And
in
the three-figure table.
Yeah. All the other documents that we have to send to you, make sure that we send them as soon as we can. Bye-bye.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice
Bye.
way to
Everybody,
finish
thank
the
you.
class. Have a
Nice
nice
to meet
day.
you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.